I'll start by wishing you a warm welcome to this yin yoga session. And before we start the practice, I invite you to really take the time to set up your space. So you'll need a couple of bolsters or some pillows and ideally a couple of blocks. And if you are practicing from home, which I'm guessing you are, it can also be really valuable to cleanse your space with either perhaps some Palo Santo or maybe a little bit of dried sage or any essential oils that you like to use. And I know that when we practice from home, it can be challenging to transform it from our space of work or our space of play to then a place where we can do a yoga practice and relax and restore. So now's your time to get everything that you need. And I also invite you to press play on the first song on the playlist in the description of this class if you would like to practice to music. And that way you can also feel the sounds and the vibrations from everything that you hear, as well as experiencing everything that you feel. And the theme of today's yin practice is being human again. We spend so many of our days and pass so much of our time living in our heads and moving forward with our thinking selves. So, really, this session is here for you to move out of your thinking self and back into your felt and experiential self. So, we'll work on releasing some tension through the body and opening up the heart and the hips, both of which these areas in our bodies can have a tendency to protect and grip. And as a result, they can feel quite stuck and quite tight. So let's meet in a cross legged position. And of course, for your cross legged position, you can place yourself onto a bolster or onto a brick or onto a cushion. And we'll actually start with a little bit of movement. So, very slowly and very gently, starting to draw some circles with the torso. And as you move slowly here, you'll already start to notice some tension or some sticky spots that you're carrying in the body. And just allow yourself to really feel it all without attaching any judgment or any narrative. And the aim of today's practice is really coming back to this sense of feeling all of the sensations and the micro sensations in our bodies. And we're so often operating in autopilot with our lives, with our thoughts, and very often we miss these areas of stickiness, these areas where we're holding. And then just settle into the center. Go nice and tall through the spine. Soften your shoulders. Start to become aware of your breath. And if it feels good for you to really take a big sigh, to just land in your body, then take one now. And while you're in this seated position, continue doing this kind of internal inventory. Use this time to check in with yourself. How is your body feeling? Where are you holding? Where are you squeezing? Which part of you have you been ignoring or avoiding? And just simply allow whatever is in your subconscious to rise to your conscious awareness. Even sometimes when we try to release those sticky parts of us or the points where we hold tension, it can feel a little bit challenging at first. So even if that's a thing for you, then just simply notice it. Notice that you're struggling to relax that part of you. You're struggling to let it go. We'll do a few rounds of what we call box breathing now. And we'll do rounds of 4 seconds. And for this, we'll inhale for 4 seconds. We'll hold the breath gently for 4 seconds. We'll exhale for 4 seconds. And then we'll hold the breath at the end of the exhale for 4 seconds. Take a nice big deep breath in, big exhale through the mouth to cleanse. And now inhaling through the nose for 2, 3, 4. Hold 2, 3, 4. Exhale 2, 3, 4. Hold 2, 3, 4. Inhale 2, 3, 4. Hold 2, 3, 4. Exhale 2, 3, 4. Hold 2, 3, 4. Inhale 2, 3, 4. Hold 2, 3, 4. Exhale 2, 3, 4. Hold 2, 3, 4. Inhale 2, 3, 4. Hold 2, 3, 4. Exhale 2, 3, 4. Hold 2, 3, 4. Last one. Inhale 2, 3, 4. Hold 2, 3, 4. Exhale 2, 3, 4. Hold 2, 3, 4. Now just allow the breath to slowly move through the nose, inhaling and exhaling slowly through the nose. You'll try to keep this steadier, slightly slower, and more conscious breathing as we move throughout the practice. So from here, let's get a bit of extension into the spine. I'm going to remove my bolster, but if you feel comfortable on yours or on your brick, you're welcome to stay there. Place your hands onto the fronts of your knees. And as you breathe in through the nose, press your belly forward. Start to lift your heart, lift your chest. And if it feels okay for your neck, you'll gently look up at the ceiling. As you take a little grip and pull back on your knees, your spine will be in a slightly arched position, but really focus on sensation over shape here. Okay, so you're not expected to perform big shapes, but you're more really checking in with the body and just noticing how it feels, where you feel it. And if you sit at a desk all day, this should feel quite a relief. And hopefully, you're feeling a nice stretch across your abdomen, something happening through your vertebra. And as you gently tip your head back, perhaps an opening through the chest and through the throat. When you feel those tensions arising, take a breath. Visualize sending it to your sticky spots. And let's take a nice big deep breath in through the nose. And then as you exhale, start to loosen the grip on your knees, come back into neutral. Draw your belly into your spine, your chin into your chest. As you start to round through all of your vertebrae now, and as you tuck that chin down and your shoulders start to move forward, you should feel a nice stretch and a broadening across the shoulder blades. And here in this practice, we're really noticing not just the stretch we feel in our muscles, but also the stretch we feel in our connective tissue and all of our skin cells. Take a nice big deep breath in through the nose. Slow, mindful exhale through the nose. Good, and then come back to center. And then before we get down onto our mat, we'll just do a little tension release with our own hands in the neck area. So just grab both hands, place them onto the back of your neck, and you can start to do a bit of a pull and squeeze. And this can be an area where we really hold on to a lot of tension. So just go easy if you feel that you need something more gentle. And perhaps if you're feeling extra tense there today, this could feel like a nice bit of release. So just rubbing the fingers over those tension spots, dragging the skin, and just encouraging a little bit of softening, a bit of relaxation, a bit less effort. And there really is a bit of an art to self massage. It always feels better when we have others' hands on us. But also, it can be really beneficial at times to even just take these breaks and just place your own hands onto the area where you're really squeezing and where you're tense, just to encourage that softening and that relaxation. Okay, now let's move down onto our mats. So remove any of your props out of your way to one side for now. Send your legs back and let's lower onto the belly. And we'll start in a Sphinx pose. So make your feet about as wide as your mat and place your forearms and your hands down on the ground. You can have your elbows roughly underneath your shoulders. But if your spine doesn't spend a lot of time in extension and this feels a bit too much too soon, feel free to walk your forearms a few inches forward. So from here, relax your head slightly. And as you take a breath in through the nose, you'll feel your belly And the bottom of your rib cage pressing against your mat. And here, we really don't want any pinching through the lower back. So see if you can guide your own body to create space there. Sometimes that means actually pressing the bottom of the rib cage down into the ground, or it means walking forearms forward. And start to press your chest forward. And again, here you should be feeling this around your spine, around your vertebra. And you may even feel a broadening across the chest, something happening around your shoulders. And it can be helpful to close the eyes. When we close the eyes, we can really focus on what the body is feeling and where we're feeling it. So remember, you're not under any pressure to achieve a specific depth or a specific shape today, but more just coming back to that sense of being instead of doing. We want to be human again. So, how can you actually do a little bit less and just notice whatever it is you notice? Option one, you can stay here. Option two, you can lift your elbows from the ground. Press through the hands to come up a little bit higher. If it feels good to make your hands a bit wider, you can. Only lift those elbows if you feel that your spine could do that little bit extra. Really ask yourself, how can I breathe in a way that creates space in my body? So slowly expanding the lungs with air and slowly allowing a softening, kind of release and surrender on the exhale. Again, check for tension at the back of your neck, your shoulders, or anywhere else that you may be carrying it. 3 more breaths here. If at any point you go too far, feel free to back off. This is part of the practice. It's really listening to the body, tuning into all the signals that our bodies try to give us on a daily basis around discomfort or when we push things too far. Really trying to encourage that inner dialogue, really tune into it. After your last exhale, very slowly, if you lifted your forearms or your elbows, lower them down to the ground. And we'll move mindfully out of the posture and take a rebound posture now. Reach your elbows wide, place one hand on top of the other. Bring your forehead onto your hands. And allow all of the skin cells on the back of your body just to melt and soften as you fully receive the effects of that last posture. Tingling, fuzziness, heat. And then from here, gently look up and bend your left elbow. So bring it into kind of cactus shape and place your palm onto the ground. So moving to shoulder opener now. Rest your left cheek down onto the ground. Bring your right fingertips down. And then bend both knees and roll onto your outer left hip. And already you'll start to feel a big, deep pull across the front of your left shoulder. Bring your awareness onto that deep stretch that you feel. And take a couple of deep breaths to soften there. Relax your neck, your face, your thighs, your knees, your feet. You'll feel all these little tingles around your left fingertips. This kind of buzzing feeling, or feeling perhaps a little bit like pins and needles. So keep sinking your awareness into whatever it is you feel. And then very slowly, feet lift from the ground, roll onto the front of your body. Bring your right arm into a cactus shape. Your palm faces down. Rest your right cheek on the ground. Come onto your left fingertips and keeping the knees bent, roll onto your outer right hip so that you feel that stretch on the other side. Again, relax your shoulders, your neck, your face, your thighs, knees, feet. In fact, any part of you that's resisting gravity. Gravity is a very strong force, and it takes a lot of effort to hold and to resist this force. It's very fatiguing on the body. So, whichever part of you resists it, just let it drop. 3 more breaths. And slowly rolling back onto the front of your body, moving very slowly out of the pose. Press your hands underneath your shoulders, and we'll move back into very soft child's pose. Resting your forehead on the ground and allowing your arms to be soft. You may get a nice sense of release by reaching the arms back, resting your arm bones by your thighs and allowing your palms to face up. Let your shoulders hang heavy towards the ground. Release your jaw. And let your face drop. And then slowly start to look up. Use your hands to assist you, pressing onto the shins. And now it's time to potentially grab your blocks and a bolster. And we'll set ourselves up into Supta Baddha Konasana, reclined butterfly on the ground. So the bolster will be placed behind your sit bones, lengthways so your spine can fully surrender onto it. And I'm going to use 2 bricks to support the outsides of my knees and the outsides of my thighs. But if it feels better for you to place a bolster underneath your knees, then feel free to grab your bolster. So soles of the feet come together, legs are in a diamond shape. And take your time to set yourself up here. Okay, we will be here for a few minutes. So make yourself nice and comfortable so that you can fully relax and surrender into the posture in a way that feels good for your body. So not moving into it too deeply, but just enough so that you feel a sense of opening. You can have a play around with your arms. They can be by the sides of your body or in a T shape. You can reach the arms overhead, but this can start to feel quite deep after a minute or so. So if your mind is busy with thoughts, please don't worry too much. This is a symptom of the modern day life that we live. Just remind yourself that you're not here to do, but to simply be. Always think in life we need to do more, but actually, how can we do less? You should feel a gentle opening through your hip flexors, an opening around the chest area, the heart space. And depending on where your arms are positioned, you might feel quite a deep opening through the shoulders. And we'll come back to this idea of how can I breathe more space into my body? How can I stretch not just my muscles, but also my connective tissue, my skin cells as I draw a deeper breath in? How can I avoid restrictions or blockages so that my lungs can fully expand as I take that inhale? But also, how can I create a softening around the edges, a surrender, a letting go as I exhale? And while you're feeling this sense of openness through the front of your body, ask yourself, how can I be open to life and just allowing life to move through me as a human being? How can we experience simply being instead of doing? How can we sometimes release some of those expectations that we have around something being the way that it should be? Human being instead of human doing. Take 5 more slow, expansive and breaths here, but really experience your breath. So instead of feeling that you need to rush through anything at all in today's practice, how can you really be all here, savoring every sensation, every nuance, every detail of being in your body in this moment? Now, very, very slowly, if you did reach your arms overhead, take your time drawing your elbows in towards your waist, really being slow with our bodies and showing ourselves the kindness and compassion that's required to also come out of a posture. First, use your hands to slowly draw your knees together, bringing your feet flat on the ground. And then just sliding your bolster or your bricks to one side, keeping both knees bent. We'll just roll off our bolster to one side, push it out from underneath you, and just allow your spine to lie flat on the ground. And we'll rebound here with knees bent, feet mat width apart. Let your knees rest in towards one another. Hands by the sides or onto the body. Just let yourself drop. And then from here, we'll start to move into your final relaxation pose, Shavasana. So if you need anything for this, a blanket or an extra layer, now's your time. Move your arms away from your body, let your palms face up. And allow your body to just settle into this simple starfish position, lying down on your back. Allow all of your muscles to relax. Allow all of your bones to get really heavy. Allow all of your micro muscles to relax. Allow your skin to just melt, soften, and relax. It's so easy for us to get caught up with the usual daily grind of life and the stresses of the modern day world. So these practices of coming back to your body are here to remind you that your existence is so much bigger than your thoughts and the stories that you get lost in. All of your mental narrative that causes you stress, worry, tension. So while you're in Shavasana, I will read you a mind blowing fact. And that is that our closest star, the sun, is just one of 2 billion other stars throughout our galaxy. But our galaxy is just one of 100 billion other galaxies scattered throughout the cosmos. In fact, it's been estimated that there are more stars in the universe than there are grains of sand on every beach in the entire world. So just allow those words and that mind blowing fact to land. And give yourself this moment to soak up the vastness and this incredible miracle of life and our existence and the fact that we are even here. Less doing, more being. Now slowly start to deepen your breath. And again, really experience that deeper inhale washing over your whole body from your head all the way through to your toes. And introduce a little bit of movement into your body. Whichever part of you feels ready to slowly start moving and slowly reawaken little by little. Mm. On your next inhale, reach your arm bones overhead, interlace your fingers, and give yourself a full body stretch. Exhale, hug your knees into your chest, wrap your arms around your shins generously, and really give yourself a really big squeeze and take a moment of gratitude for everything that you are, everything that you've experienced in this life so far. And remind yourself to be kind, to show yourself compassion. Roll over to one side and gently use one hand, press it down into the ground to make your way into a cross-legged seated position. And as you slowly draw your palms and your fingertips to touch, perhaps you close your eyes and just really feel that connection between left hand and right hand. Feel your own skin, your own temperature, and bow your chin to your chest. And take this last moment to receive whatever it is you receive from your practice. Resting the thumbs in between the eyebrows. Namaste.